showcase is going to be on the Karak, one of the other newbie weapons. It is called a newbie weapon, but it is a very easy to use weapon. It does pretty good in, well, the base damage. We got 12 impact, 8 puncture, 6 slash, almost 7. Excellent accuracy, pretty good fire rate. The critical build's not really there, and the element build, the status, is pretty weak as well. 30 bullets in the magazine, quick reload time of 2 seconds, and it's fully automatic. This weapon is, of all the newbie weapons, the most expensive to build. But it's the best handling. Very easy to shoot. Oh, I wish other guns were like it, in terms of how it handles. But there's benefits and negatives to this, pros and cons. I'll go over both. And there may be more pros and cons in this case. But keep in mind that in the end, it is a beginner's weapon. You can only take it so far. I do not have the Wraith version, as the PC had the Wraith. So I'll not be adding that to this, because I will not be able to acquire it. Because I'm a peak console player. Say what you will. Okay, I mainly decided to fight the Corpus, since it is an impact weapon, so do best against them. And even though this, I just right out of the box, it's only level 1, and it's actually doing pretty decent against these guys, despite having no mods on it. Fairly quick, easy reload time, but there is the first downside of the 30 rounds in the magazine, is its shortcoming, first and foremost. But otherwise, it has excellent accuracy, the range is also very good. You can easily carry it anywhere, you don't have to feel if your opponent's too far or too close, they'll be dispatched either way. There's no true problem with that. That's what makes this weapon a good beginner weapon. It fires good at all ranges. Now, for other opponents, like the Grenier or the Infested, maybe it ain't suited for them nearly as much. The Grenier, they're more resistant to impact weapons, and the Infested move quite quickly. This thing doesn't lack the stopping power to kill him quick enough. But this gun is a thrill to use. It's pretty nice. It's been a long time since I actually used it before using this video. But, pretty nice. I do recommend it for all newbies, of course. It is part of my top 4 weapons for beginners. And as you can see, I have no difficulty using it. Now, after getting it to level 30, just basically put a serration, a split chamber, and a warp magazine, because that 30 bullets is the biggest hindrance to this. Since you pretty much have to rely on the base build, you best rely on how many bullets you have in the magazine. Now, I've tried taking it to level 40 crewmen, and I didn't think it would go this far, but it really didn't, to be honest. You see, it just struggled to even drop one opponent. And, to be honest, I didn't really last too terribly long. Okay, then I toned it down to MOAs at level 30, and this is where it just barely did the job. I do have the advantage of a very high fire rate and maneuverability, but it's still not really recommended you take this gun even this far. I say this is probably as far as it'll go, but accuracy still holds. And even at 38 bullets, I still think it goes to the magazine way too quick. But easy strafing, you can be very maneuverable with the gun. The firepower is alright. Could be better. Of course, it is a beginner weapon again. But even in firing a straight crowd, I can only drop 1 or 2 of them in one magazine. Leaves a lot to be desired. But for what it is, it's a beginner weapon, and it accomplishes what it sets out to do. It usually teaches anyone the basics of gunplay in this game when you acquire this, if you already don't know it at that point. Alright, I think I covered everything this weapon pretty much holds. But moving on, we got now the Karak Wraith, the upgraded version. Now, this was originally lost to the console players, but has been added with Update 18, with this new sortie system. So it has a minor improvement to all damage, but also adds a lot more status, around 5%, and doubles the magazine to 60 bullets. So it changes dynamics quite a bit, but I'll not be treating this weapon as a beginner weapon, because beginners really can't get their hands on this unless they buy it off someone else. So I'll be kind of viewing it as an intermediate to endgame weapon, which might not shed too good of a light on it, but let's go forward anyway. So yes, as I upgraded this one, I decided to go for a serration, rupture to get the better impact damage, and a wildfire, because at 60 bullets you can easily upgrade that magazine capacity. And add a little bit of heat damage, since it has a little bit more status too. Other mods might be better, but for the basic mods you can get in-game, this is best going out from level 0 to 30. Could be benefit from multiple football forma, but would you? Well, we'll find out later on. But nonetheless, this is the build I went with in this video. Now, with 60 bullets now, it could do a lot higher output. The DPS is much higher now, because you got a lot more damage coming out of your gun. They'll have to reload it every 2 seconds. That was the problem with the original, is that you go through the magazine so quickly. It's no longer the case this time. You can actually mow down whole groups of enemies, providing they're not level 50, and you can go cut right through them too. The accuracy still holds, it's still good, pretty much all the characteristics are intact from the original. Now in terms of status, it is a light status build weapon, but still it is just a minor improvement on the beginner weapon, and that's what it is, a minor improvement. Because I wouldn't call this an endgame weapon, or barely intermediate weapon still, because of that lack of damage. Even with a little bit of an element build, it's not going to hold. Now in a controlled environment, I tried to go on level 35, but it didn't work still. So it's still fighting level 30 MOAs. Even though it's some time has passed since the original Vault 1 and this one, and the shooting range has changed a little bit, in terms of functionality it's the same, and the Karak has still the same problems of not getting enough damage out. Now I may be able to drop one or two of them in a single magazine this time around, but still it's not really recommended. It's still good for beginners, but that's the problem. A beginner can't get this weapon. At least not normally. So I can't recommend this version of it to anyone. Use it for leveling and nothing else, because that's all it's good for. In terms of PvP, it was pretty much identical to that of the plain one. Only with, again, small improvements. So it's better in PvP if you really want it. Okay, let's talk about some pros and cons. For pros, we still got a weapon that is very compact, good accuracy, has a status build and a large magazine, and quick reload to boot. On the con side, however, it's still beginner damage. The critical chance is still garbage. It's only been doubled, but 2.5 to 5% isn't exactly much of an improvement. The fact is, it's rather difficult to acquire naturally, so it's not really worth the effort. Not an endgame weapon, clearly. But that is the Karak showcase. For next time, I'll have a more new weapon. But no matter. Thanks for watching.